Hello and welcome to another episode on the styles of leadership. Now, if you remember in our previous episode, we discussed about the two styles of leadership, that is the democratic style of leadership and the autocratic style of leadership. Today in this episode, we're going to look at the three styles of leadership, that is the delegative style of leadership, the transactional style of leadership, and the transformational style of leadership. So let's delve into our content for today. The first style of leadership I want to discuss with you today is the delegative style of leadership. Now, the delegative style is also known as laissez-faire style of leadership. Now, laissez-faire is a French term. When translated, it means allowed to do or leave us alone. Laissez-faire is actually a political ideology in which it rejects the idea that any kind of government should have any kind of interference in the economy of a particular state or a particular country. But how does delegative style of leadership really works? Let's look at some of the few things that will enlighten us as to how it really works. Number one, the delegative style of leadership gives complete power to the members without any kind of interference from the leader. Number two, the team members can make their own decision because of this special authority that has been endowed upon them. Thirdly, they are given extreme freedom to work and to apply their faculties on any given task that they are asked to achieve. Number four, they are free from any kind of direct control over any tasks, but at the same time, they are not responsible for any kind of a consequence or an outcome of that very task. Now let's look at some of the advantage and the disadvantage of this very style of leadership. Number one, the advantage is this, that each member can see extreme personal growth as to when it comes to their own personal development, because extreme authority and power is been given over to them. Secondly, is that every team member, if they are really into applying their faculty, they can really explore the area of creativity. Actually, they can become very creative as to how they apply their faculties, as to how they work in a particular task. Number three is that decisions can be made very quickly and very fast. So we don't have to really wait upon the leader to really make that final decision. Each member can make decision. So these are the three major advantages of the delegative style of leadership. Secondly, look at the disadvantage. Disadvantage is that there's a lack of clarity in the role of the members, since there is no lack of direction. Since the leader does not really come in between and direct every bits and pieces as to how a particular work is achieved, therefore there's this lack of clarity, lack of clarity in the role of the members. Secondly, is every member that are part of the team, and as I understand that there would be some members who are extremely professional in working on a particular task, but yet there are some novices, in the sense there are some members who have just joined in the team, and to apply such kind of leadership style would mean that every novices or every new members who've just joined the team or a part of a particular group or a particular team would have to really reinvent the wheel every time they are on to a new task. Number three is there is this the disadvantage is there is this lack of team membership, since everybody works on their own task independently of the leader's guidance and direction. There can be this big gap of the feeling of team membership and oneness and togetherness as they try and achieve a certain task. And the fourth thing about this style of a leadership, when it comes to the disadvantage, is that most of the members, if they are not personally motivated to achieve a certain task, they can be very laid back. In a way, they can be very passive members in the team. The second style of leadership I want to discuss with you today is the transactional style of leadership. And I sometimes call this as the win-win style of leadership. This is also known as the give and take kind of style of leadership, actually. In the case of an employer-employee situation, you have the employer rewarding the employee each time the employee achieve a certain goal or achieve a set goals. Now, in the case where the employee is unable to achieve a certain goal or a certain set goals, then what happens is the employee may face consequences and up to even losing a job. And so, in the case of a follower, a leader, kind of a situation, you have the leader rewarding the follower for performing well. Now, the leader who adopt this kind of leadership really sets clear goal. He sets clear goal, or she sets clear goal, and expects the follower to achieve them. Now, depending on the kind of achievement of the group member or the followers, they will be rewarded accordingly. Now, one of the major advantages in this kind of a style of leadership is that group members are provided with very clear goals as to what they need to really look into and achieve. Now, the disadvantage of this style of leadership is that it is not very flexible. It is not very flexible. It is very rigid, and also it is very uninspiring. Mostly leaders who adopt this kind of leadership are not very inspiring. They don't really speak up. They don't really inspire others. But they are more motivated towards achieving goals and objectives within the organization, or within the particular workspace that they're in. And so there is no inspiration as such, because the communication gap is very, very wide. The final style of leadership that I want to talk about is the transformational style of leadership. I would also like to call this as the uplifting style of leadership. Now, as the word transform or transformation or transformational suggests, it has to do with the leader uplifting and empowering their own members, their own followers. It was James McGregor Burns who used this term transforming or transformational leadership in one of his books called Leadership. Today I want to concentrate, or rather talk about the few characteristics and traits of a transformational leader. Who is a transformational leader really? The first thing is this: a transformational leader is a great mentor and coach. A transformational leader will identify gifts and talents of people and will encourage and even challenge them to grow in that particular gift and use those gifts for the good of the people around them. Secondly, transformational leaders are highly interactive. You will see that their communication lines are open. You will see that they are very open to communication. And sometimes you would also see that transformational leaders are very quick to reply or respond to your texts and to your communications. They reply very promptly and very swiftly to communications. Transformational leaders are also very good empathizer. They empathize, they understand, they would put themselves in the shoe of someone else and understand their plight and understand their pain, and understand just everything about a particular person that they are dealing with. They are very good empathizer. A transformational leader also are very good at recognizing and appreciating the efforts, the performance, and the gifts and talents in another person's life. A transformational leader is also very creative, and they are not only creative themselves, but they also encourage creativity among their group members. A transformational leader is also sometimes known as a visionary leader. Visionary leaders are the ones who can see a picture of the future, and they would bring that picture and communicate that very picture into their own followers. The next thing is that transformational leaders are very idealist. They are idealist in a way, because they would always look for new ideas. They would always try to attempt new things. They would always, if you talk to them especially, they would always talk about new ideas. They would talk about ideas as to how they would get things achieved, how they would get things done, and what is a new ways to how to to do things. So they always come up with new ideas. Not just that, transformational leaders are also very studious. They read a lot, they study a lot, they look for new ways as to how to do things, and they would find that in books and popular magazines and all of that. They would read just about anything and everything. They're good readers. Transformational leaders are also very passionate and enthusiastic. They would do anything and everything for something they believe that is of good cause, or something that they value, something that they think would bring any kind of value into this world. They would they would just go all out and do it. So they're very passionate and very enthusiastic. Transformational leaders are also very inspiring. They don't only inspire through speeches and talks, but they also inspire with their own lives. And so when you look at a true transformational leader, you would really want to become like one. Transformational leaders are also very empowering. They empower other people. They don't just want to do everything by themselves and try and achieve things all by themselves, but they want to delegate work. They want to empower other people. They want to to give a chance to other people to grow and empower them and make them realize that they can also achieve certain things in their own life. So these are few of the leadership styles that I present to you in the first episode and this episode. Well, we have discussed about the democratic style, autocratic style, and today we've discussed on the delegative style, the transactional style, and also the transformational style. Well, as I said, you'd have to really look into your own context and see as to what kind of style really works for you. And sometimes I've discovered this one thing, that leaders don't use only one style of leadership. They would blend, at times, depending on the kind of context that they are in and leading a particular group, they would blend certain kinds of leadership styles, put them together, and come up with a different kind of a style where they can really adopt themselves into leading that particular group towards achieving a certain goal. So with this, we have really come to a close on discussing about these 5 leadership style, and I think that it has kind of shed some light as to how you lead a particular group, as to what kind of a style you really you really have adopted and also are willing to inculcate in the near future. And so with this, we come to a close. And thank you for listening. God bless.